Hey everyone, my name is Andrew, also known as Fellowship of the Tables, and I'm starting a new video series today based on the Story Engine deck by Peter Tchaikovsky, as well as his deck of worlds. These are decks of cards for that contain world building prompts, writing prompts to give you ideas about what kind of things you might want to add to your world. And so my goal for this is to show off these cards at a large scale. What happens if you use these to build a significantly large world? So the way that I thought I would do that is there's currently a project going on, sort of a competition from World Anvil called Summer Camp. Throughout the month of July, they are releasing uh, a total of 40 prompts. And so I thought that we would use these cards to write 300 words about each of those prompts. I'm going to start with a brand new world and see where it gets us to. So let's have a look at the cards first. We'll start with the Story Engine deck. For the Story Engine deck, you have agent cards. These are like characters in your world. We have engine cards. These are your character's motivations. And we have anchors cards. This is sort of the object of their motivations. Conflict cards, what it costs for them to pursue their desire. And then aspect cards, these are essentially just adjectives that can be applied to any any object or person in your world. And so we'll see more of how to use those later. Okay, then we have in the base deck of worlds, we have, uh, by the way, each of them come with a beautiful guidebook that has lots of interesting ideas about how you might use the cards. In the deck of worlds, you have region cards. These kind of are for a larger geographic area that you might be interested in focusing on in your world. We have landmark cards. These are specific places within regions in your world. We have namesake cards. This sort of gives you a general flavor for a particular landmark in your world. A word or a short phrase that kind of gives a characteristic for that location. Then you have origin cards. This tells you something about the history of the place. Then you have attributes cards. These are much like aspects in the story engine deck. They're adjectives that can be applied in many different places in your world. And then advent cards. These are little adventures that are intended to take place in a particular place in your world. In addition to those, I am also using the creative expansion set. This is a set of expansions that I think are really neat. The first one is Lore Fragments. Lore Fragments gives you two types of cards. There are them. There are Flourish cards and Opus cards. The idea here is an opus is sort of a work of art or a, a type of thing that your lore fragment is appearing as. It might be a book or a song or a piece of law, and then the flourish kind of tells you something about that work of art. So those will be a lot of fun. And then we have keyhole cards. These are to kind of give you a question about a particular culture in your world that you might want to expand on. And then we have adventure cards. These are much like the advent cards in this the deck of worlds, but more involved and often links to many different other things in your world. So we'll get into more of how that works. So for this series, I'm going to try to mainly just use these two base decks and those three expansions. I will also, you'll see me from time to time pull up my note editor. And so let me switch over to that. You can see this is a tool called Obsidian for taking notes in and for anything really. Also in here, you'll see me pull up, there are, you saw the print version of one of the guidebooks. There's a story engine deck and a Deck of Worlds guidebook. And I also found this fantastic custom guidebook that has just a lot of different ideas for how you might combine different cards in both decks and use those to create different things. So we will make use of that along the way. Let's see. I will also try to use a hex editor at some point, a way of showing things on a map. Once we have some locations, I have a tool that I'm going to use for that, which I will introduce at the time. And so, yeah, so the world that we're going to create, I'm going to call it Dowsed, Dowsed, and that, of course, stands for Deck of Worlds and Story Engine Deck. But I'm just going to say it's a word and world. And so one of the things in the Deck of Worlds guidebook that Peter suggests that I think is a really cool idea is he talks about creating a meta for your world, which is to draw a few cards to just kind of get a sense for what your world is like overall. Things that are sort of universally true for your world. So I'm going to start there in this introductory video. I'm going to draw a few cards to tell us a little bit about what Dowsed is like overall. So this out of the way. Oops. Okay. And we'll start by drawing two namesake cards. We're going to choose one of each of those, or one of those, to see what our world is like. A world without fear. It's a little closer. World without fear. World of the moon. World of guardians. Hissing world. World of wings. A world of answers. A bleak world, or a world at the bottom. I like the idea of a world of guardians. I don't really know what that's going to mean yet, but I'm very curious to find out. So let's start there. Okay, and then the next one we'll draw is two origin cards. This is a world that was once decimated by plague, where it's built with blood money. The entire world is built with blood money. That seems crazy. Site of a huge misunderstanding, shaped by a terrible storm, home of a vanished people, founded by outcasts, last known location of an ancient artifact, said to have been the home of the gods. Once decimated by plague, for an entire world. That's a brutal concept. I like it. Okay, what's next here? We're going to draw two attribute cards. Okay, it has an oral history of tradition, known for one specific superstition, oldest of its kind, wildlife mating grounds, religiously diverse, known for street food, seasonal flooding, or carnivorous plants. There are several here that I like. I like the idea of a world of carnivorous plants, especially, maybe after it was decimated by plague, like there's some connection there that these plants, I don't know, the plague spread to the plants, maybe? Religiously diverse sounds really interesting. Um, hmm, World history of tradition. This is a tough one. Um, what? Let's go with religiously diverse. I think as a worldwide concept that works really well. Okay. Let's see here. And then finally, we're going to draw two advent cards. Okay. Alright, what's going on in this world? The contents of an important archive are being held hostage in either a library, museum, or art gallery. Stars are disappearing from the night sky due to pollution, an optical illusion, or something supernatural. An important cultural expression is being banned, either a language, a form of worship, or a sport, or a huge festival is about to take over the area, the entire world. Hmm. Concert, art show, or cultural celebration. Hmm. I like the idea of a huge worldwide festival going on. Maybe the world is really finally starting to recover from this awful plague that hit centuries ago. And so, in celebration, maybe it's been, 200 years since um, the last known case of this plague. And so, there's a worldwide celebration going on as a result. They are having a festival. So let's take a few notes here. I'm going to go into my world meta here and let's see. Dowsed Guardians once decimated by plague. Religiously diverse means there's probably going to be a pretty large uh, pantheon. I don't know if I want to say cultural celebration, but celebration. Okay, so we will start there, and yeah, pretty soon we will work on the first prompt and get that video out there. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy, and see you soon.